No one wakes up expecting to be nothing but a pile of mangled flesh and crushed bones before the day's end, but that is exactly what happened to Donna Munson, a 74-year-old neighborhood senior who fell prey to the very same animals she swore were her friends. Hit that like button and subscribe right now. This is the terrible true story of the woman that was mauled by the bears she invited into her home. Welcome to Final Affliction. It's summertime in Black Bear Country, and Donna Munson woke up in her log cabin in Ouray County, Colorado. She expected her day to go as usual: breakfast, tea, ignoring her neighbors' complaints, and an afternoon of watching the bears eat through her picture window. Sadly, things didn't go as planned for this unsuspecting senior. Donna's cabin was nestled between the vast mountains of Ouray and Ridgway, two towns that hosted some of Colorado's 960 wildlife species. She had all the space she needed to commune with her friends. She didn't really want to think about the pesky neighbors, but they'd made so much noise that she couldn't help hearing their voices in her head. They wanted her to stop feeding her babies, but that wasn't something she was ever ready to do. Too bad it led to her unfortunate downfall. Tired of having their lives disrupted by hungry bears destroying property for food, her neighbors filed complaints with the Colorado Parks and Wildlife. They said that the bears' repeated visits to rummage through trash cans and break into homes was enough proof that what Donna was doing was dangerous. Her neighbors warned that she was not only putting herself at risk, but also everyone else at risk, because the bears will come expecting handouts and will surely get violent with anyone who couldn't deliver. Donna was a woman of her own opinions. No one would tell her what to do, so she ignored all their chatter. She believed they simply didn't understand her special connection with nature. They didn't get that the animals were as much as family as they were friends. Ever since her husband had passed on, it was her duty to keep his legacy alive by taking care of the animals just like he did. Like almost every sweet old granny, she fed stray cats, then took it an extra mile to feed raccoons, skunks, elk, deer, and eventually her baby, the black bears. The neighbors could complain all they wanted. They could warn her for all she cared. She wasn't going to stop feeding the wildlife. The fact that the bears kept coming over for food had to mean that the poor darlings were just hungry. What kind of monster would she be if she didn't put some food in their tummies? Besides, she'd been feeding the animals for over 10 years and none of them had dared harm her. Donna decided to stop taking the CPW's calls and reading their letters. They couldn't really do anything to her, and it wasn't their business what she did on her property. Better yet, she wasn't stupid. She had a fence built to wrap around her front porch. This way, she could feed the bears through it without getting too close for comfort. It was a sturdy, standard farm fence made of wood and wire mesh, and it had served her diligently all this while. It was enough protection, and there was no way she would stop feeding her dear friends. With her conviction steeled, Donna went about her day. Pesky neighbors aside, she had other things to worry about. The night before, an injured bear cub ambled toward her porch. At that time, she'd been on the phone with a relative, and she had to end the call and move quickly to tend to the poor baby. Where was its mother? Why was it all alone? Was there a way to get it back to its family? All those questions didn't matter at the moment. First, Donna had to make sure the poor baby was all right. She fed it hard-boiled eggs and yogurt, but while the sweet angel was eating, an older bear tried to harm the cub. Donna couldn't let that stand. Using a broom, she chased off the bully, ultimately saving the cub. She didn't want to hit the bear, after all, it was her friend too, but she had to have her priorities straight, and the injured baby needed her more at the moment. It had fled during the attack, and she wondered if it was okay or if she could have done more to help. These thoughts still plagued her later that Friday as she got food ready for the bears. As always, she was going to sit on her porch and watch quietly as they ate. Watching the bears was one of her favorite pastimes, and she liked that she could watch them while they watched her. They probably thought of her fondly too. After all, she'd fed them constantly. They surely had her back, but she couldn't be more wrong. Donna got herself ready on her porch and watched as the hungry animals started to show up. She was pleased to lose herself in their company once again. After the death of her husband, Donna barely spent much time with other humans. She knew that old acquaintances had mentioned that they didn't like her all alone out in the area with so many animals, but Ouray was her home, and the bears were her people. Donna got closer to the fence, ready to watch her babies eat through its protection. It was unfortunate that she had to use her walker and that she couldn't interact with her beloved animals as much as she would if she was still young and spry, but it was fine. She'd do her best to look after her friends with the strength that she had. As Donna walked up to the fence, she spotted 2 black bears, clearly hungry and anticipating the food she had for them. The sight only made her heart soar further. The neighbors and wildlife professionals really didn't know what they were talking about. This was bliss. As she got closer, her happiness started to wane, and her heart sank to the pit of her stomach. The bears were her babies, but she'd miscalculated the love they had for her. Frozen with fear, she could do nothing but stare as one of the bears reached through the fence and knocked her down. One mighty paw to the head was all it took to render Donna unconscious. The hungry, angry bear went at her head with its claws and pulled her body under the fence that was supposed to protect her with its teeth. It had come for food, and it seemed that hard-boiled eggs and nuts were simply not enough. The bear wanted its pound of flesh, and it found it in the woman who called it her friend. Another nearby bear, seeing what was happening, rushed forward for its share of Donna. Together, the bears tore Donna limb from limb and devoured her. Donna was only found later that same day when a handyman looking for work stopped by her cabin. He was looking for a painting job and surely didn't expect to find a bloody, mangled corpse waiting for him. The man wasted no time in calling the police, and just moments later, the Ouray County Sheriff's Department was on the scene. Joel Burke, a detective with the department, was first on the scene, and he immediately started interviewing potential witnesses. While he was talking to the neighbors and others on the scene, grunts and roars filled the air. A 250-pound bear was barreling towards them, and it showed no signs of slowing down or showing the smaller humans mercy. It wanted the body, and it wasn't backing down until it had its meal between its teeth again. When things started to heat up, Joel rounded up the bystanders and drove them to safety in his car, where he retrieved his weapon. He was trembling because it's not every day that a small human faces off against a ferocious bear. Joel didn't want to shoot, but it was kill or be killed and eaten. Plus, there were people to protect, and as an investigator, he had to find out what really happened to Donna. So squaring his shoulders, Joel raised his gun and let a bullet fly. Joel had to shoot down a second bear that same day, a 394-pound male. With both dead and Donna's body secured, the department could finally get some real answers as to what happened. An autopsy on the bears' bodies revealed that the bigger bear had human flesh, Donna's flesh, in its stomach. Aside from her flesh, the bear had part of her shirt in its stomach as well. The results came out inconclusive for the smaller bear, but there was no doubt that it would have had its fair share of Donna if Joel hadn't done something about it. Donna Munson, the nature-loving old lady, often rented out half of her house in southwestern Colorado to several people over the years. One of the tenants recalled that Donna had once told them that when the time came, she wanted to go out with the bears. That's exactly what she did, even though it might not have been how she thought things would go. And although her love for nature can be commended, the fact that she refused to follow one simple instruction put herself, her neighbors, and the very same bears she claimed to love in danger. 2 bears died because of her that day, and if she really loved them as much as she proclaimed, she would have been heartbroken to find out. Hikers and residents of wildlife-inhabited areas are instructed not to feed the animals for a good reason, and if only Donna had not treated the bears like she would a neighbor's dog, she might have avoided such a gruesome final affliction.